Aloha, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Trauma Recovery University. I'm your host, Athena Moberg, and with me in the green room is my amazing co-host, Bobby Parrish. And tonight's topic is emotional regulation. We love to talk to adult survivors of child abuse, specifically adult survivors of childhood sexual abuse. So if that is you, you are tuned into the correct podcast. And we are so excited and blessed that you have decided to spend this hour of your evening with us. So emotional regulation, let's talk about that a little bit. I hope this hair doesn't stay in my face like the whole night. It's going to drive me crazy. Emotional regulation, what is that? And what does it mean to be emotionally regulated versus emotionally dysregulated? And how can we choose to sort of master emotional regulation or even learn about how it works, and how will that help our recovery journey from healing in our adult life from all of the after effects of our child abuse? So we're going to unpack all of that tonight. We do have, as always, our complimentary one-page downloadable resource for you, just as a thank you for being one of our loyal listeners, viewers, subscribers, or just an awesome survivor. And I'm going to direct you to where you can download that complimentary one-page resource. And typically, when you're listening to this, you're going to go to traumarecoveryuniversity.com, and you are going to click on a tab that says downloadables, and you will be given immediate access. You'll fill in your email address, given immediate access to our entire library of downloadable one-page resources. And if you are watching or listening live right now on September 14th, 2015, you're actually going to go to our project website, because I'm still working on the back end of the Trauma Recovery University website. So that web address is www.nomoreshameproject.com. Click on the tab that says downloadables, and you'll be given immediate access to that one-page downloadable resource page all the way down to the bottom where it says child abuse survivors and emotional regulation. And just click on that. The one page should pop up, and you'll be able to follow along during the teaching portion of tonight's broadcast. If this is your first time tuning in to join us on our channel, first we want to welcome you and tell you how excited we are that you're here to join our family. And we want to basically just give you a really brief synopsis of what you can expect from us here on our channel. Me, Athena Moberg, and my partner, Bobby Parrish, who's in the green room, we come here every single week, and we do a live interactive Q&A broadcast for adult survivors of childhood abuse, specifically childhood sexual abuse. So if you have questions about if you were abused as a child, or perhaps your spouse or a loved one was abused as a child, or maybe even your mom or your dad, and you happen to know about it, and you want to know how to better understand their recovery journey or your own recovery journey in your recovering from child abuse, then that's why we show up every single week. You can tweet us questions every single Monday by using the hashtag #NoMoreShame. And we also monitor this hashtag 7 days a week, and we try to respond. And especially if you tag us in the tweet, I'm at Athena Moberg, and my amazing partner Bobby is at Bobby L. Parrish. That would be very helpful, so that we can retweet you, respond to you directly. And if you have a suggestion for a topic that we should discuss on one of our broadcasts, we would love to hear from you. So if you are tuning in on a podcast platform such as iTunes, Spreaker, SoundCloud, Stitcher, or even iHeartRadio, we want to remind you this is a video broadcast. And so you can find every single one of our videos from all of season 1. And then as we're going to be transitioning into season 2 with maybe some shorter broadcasts and some extra bonus videos and so forth, you can find us by going to youtube.com/Trauma Recovery University TV, or you can go to any Roku device and find us very simply by just typing in TRA on your Roku television or your Roku device, or just search for Trauma Recovery University, and you'll have access to everything. So we look forward to supporting you in your recovery journey, and we always are very intent on providing you with healthy, informed trauma recovery resources. So welcome. I'm so excited that you've chosen to join us for this broadcast for this very important topic of emotional regulation. And I'm going to turn this over to my incredible partner, Bobby Parrish, who's going to update us on this year's annual anthology, and perhaps anything else. Like No More Shame November is coming up. We're going to issue a trigger warning, who you can reach out to over our friends at RAINN, all of that. And while I turn this over to my amazing partner, Bobby Parrish, I'm going to step away from the computer for just a moment, and I'll be right back. Take it away, Bobby.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, we do want to issue a trigger warning for this video episode. We are talking about child abuse and sometimes specifically childhood sexual abuse. So be very patient with yourself, practice excellent self-care, and if you need to, step away from the broadcast. We have found that survivors are very visually oriented because they grew up with needing to be constantly watching their visual surroundings to see if they're safe. And so these videos in particular can be very triggering for you. If you're watching tonight and you get triggered, just go ahead and walk away, and you can come back anytime and watch the replay on YouTube. It takes but a matter of a couple of hours after we're finished with our Google Hangouts for them to be up on YouTube and ready for you to view, and you can do it anytime. You can watch 10 minutes at a time, you can watch 5 minutes at a time, whatever it is that will help you to get the information without feeling unsafe. If you do get triggered and you're in crisis, please reach out to RAINN, and they have a toll-free hotline number, 1-800-866, 800-656-HOPE, H-O-P-E, sorry about that. And then they also have their website where they have a crisis chat feature, and that is at RAINN, RAINN.org. So please reach out to them if you're in crisis or you need help urgently. They can also help you locate local resources so that you can get help in person or perhaps find a therapist that you might be looking for. We also want to give you a heads up. It's September. We are becoming very close to November, and November, if you remember from last year, is No More Shame November, and that's the month that we do a lot of advocacy work for adult survivors of childhood abuse, and it's also where we work to spread a lot of awareness for what we go through and just about the whole childhood abuse piece. You know, that myth that strangers are child molesters, whereas the truth is that 94% of children know their abuser. It's not stranger danger. If you would like to help us share information and join in the advocacy, please go to our website, nomore-shame-project.com, and there's a tab that says Pinnables. And if you look there, you'll find a button that Athena created that you can download and either put on your blog, or you can use it as your avatar during the month of November. And we would be honored if you did, so that we can continue to spread information about childhood abuse and especially childhood sexual abuse. We're going to be doing a blog roundup in November like we did last year. So if you have a blog where you write about childhood sexual abuse, either as your experience or just information and education, send us the name of that blog to nomore-shame-project.com. nomore-shame-project@gmail.com. And we'll put it up on the website so that people can have a look at it. Also, I am working very hard with our publisher Book Trope in order to get the first and second volumes of our anthology out in November. So take a look for those. I am positive that the volume 1 will be out by November, and I'm pretty sure that the volume 2 will be out maybe a little later in the month of November, but it will be there. So watch for announcements. If you'd like to get on our email list, go over to nomore-shame-project.com, put in your email and your name, and then we will send you notifications when all of the awesome things happen. Other than that, I think it's about it. While you were gone, Athena, I gave a trigger warning and gave them RAINN's information. And just a shout out already, I noticed that Jack and Beth and Stu are all watching, and we're so glad that you're here, and we really appreciate your support and your encouragement as we do our live episodes.
Oh, and Simi's here. Hi,
Oh,
Simi.
Simi's here.
Yeah.
We do for those of you who don't know, we do 3 Twitter chats a week. One of them is Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And that one was primarily started to reach our UK audience. And that would be 6 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time for them. And then there is this Twitter chat, which is a live video Twitter chat combination. 6 PMs. Where did that come from? Prime Ministers. 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Every week I say, like, if you're turning in instead of tuning in. So maybe you're getting it from me. It's okay. Either way.
And then Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And the hashtag for that is Sex Abuse Chat. The hashtag for the one that we do Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific time is CSAQT, which stands for Child Sexual Abuse Question Time. So anything else, Miss Athena, that you want to add before we jump into content?
Yes, I do. I want to say hello to Sarah, and I want to say hello to Megan. Aloha, you two. And I wanted to say hi to Susan, Shiny Blue Dress Susan. She's tuning in live as well. And I didn't say turning in live this time. Isn't that awesome? So, so you guys, I'm really excited that you're all here tonight. And I said Megan, right? Did I say Megan? I said Sarah and Megan. And so, okay. I've been forgetting things. I was telling Bobby before we went live that I'm struggling with forgetting things this week because I think it's because I'm a little overwhelmed because I'm getting ready to travel and go speak at a conference, which, you guys, I need your prayers. I need your prayers. I need your good thoughts or whatever it is that you believe in, because I mean, I speak publicly every single week, you know, here with you guys about everything, but getting up on a stage in front of people that are not survivors, that are really, you know, prominent people in the community, they own their own businesses, they run their own organizations, they're pastors of churches. I'm getting up in front of all of them and I'm sharing part of my story. I'm sharing my coaching modality that I founded. I'm sharing everything. And it's kind of a big deal, and I think that might be why I'm forgetting things. My executive functioning is just sort of like on freak mode, and I'm having a lot of dad stuff come up, you guys. And I like had all these dreams about my dad, and then I saw his voicemails like still on my phone, and so of course I listened to them, and then so that was really emotional for me because I got an email this morning about this like Olympic runner that was helped by his dad. And so anyway, I just have a lot of stuff that's going on. So I need your guys' prayers, and I appreciate your support. Every single time I reach out and I tell you that I need you, you guys are amazing, and I receive so much support, and I feel your prayers. So I published a book. I got invited to speak at a church in Florida and at an Entrepreneurial Women's Conference in November in Montgomery, Alabama. And I just recently, yesterday, Bobby, I haven't even had a chance to tell you this. Oh my gosh. I got invited to stay over in Seattle longer and change my flight. They want to take care of the charges and everything for me to stay at a hotel and discuss our project, our No More Shame project, and Trauma Recovery University and Trauma Recovery Ministries, and possibly speaking at their church. Their church has 4 locations, 4 campuses. They have 7 services on Sunday mornings. It's a really big church. And they have an entire ministry for people that are coming and living lives wanting to get away from the sex trade. And a high percentage, up close to 90% of all of their people that they're ministering to are adult survivors of childhood sexual abuse. So they're my peeps. I'm so excited. So that's all coming up in the next 7 days, you guys, 8 days, 9 days, like the next, seriously, I'm a little bit like, blah, not emotionally regulated. So this broadcast is in perfect timing. I'm like the perfect subject for us to talk about because I'm not emotionally regulated as I normally am my coping strategies, my self-soothing techniques, and my crisis management plan have sort of been I'm going back and forth to it in the middle of all this work I'm doing and the websites and the booking travel and changing travel and just everything. So I wanted to just let you guys know that, just let you know where I'm at emotionally. I'm always very transparent with you, and each time I show up and I'm just transparent, I get messages from you guys like, wow, if you wouldn't have said that, I never would have known I wasn't alone. So I'm just going to keep doing that. I'm going to keep showing up, and I'm just going to keep being real, you guys. And perfect segue on me just keeping it real. I want to say some things to you peeps right now, okay? Thank you, everybody that's tweeting in. Oh my gosh, hello. There's a lot of people. Hi, Melissa. Yay! Okay, so I need to talk to you guys. This is a really big deal. If you are not familiar with our broadcast and you're not familiar with our online safe support communities, or even if you are, I want to say something to some people out there right now who are cyberbullying and perhaps treating some of our community members not very kindly. And I want you to know that it's inappropriate and it's unacceptable, and I'm glad that I don't know who you are, because I would be all mama bear all over your ass right now. It's not even funny. So people show up in our community because they want support. They need support, and they need support from you as well. If you're hosting a chat or if you have an online group, they're trusting you with their deepest part of themselves. And for you to exploit that or not treat it gingerly and carefully and with kid gloves and just lovingly is predatory on your part, and it's inappropriate and it's wrong. And so if you are new to this broadcast and you're looking for a safe support community so you can be welcomed in and just show up warts and all and just be yourself and just be loved unconditionally and not abused or mistreated in any way, then you've come to the right place, because we have a zero, you see me here? Zero. We have a zero tolerance policy for abuse in every single one of our communities. There has to be a mutual respect. There needs to be a mutual kindness. There needs to be a mutual reciprocity and deliverance of compassion that comes in every single area of all that we do. So if you're a compassionate person and you're wanting to get welcomed into a safe community and you're willing to show compassion to others and not be abusive, then we would like to welcome you, and you may contact us at nomoreshameproject@gmail.com. And just know that we won't stand for any of it. If there's anyone that is going to be abusive towards any of our peeps, they're out. OUT out for good. Not welcome back. So that is all I wanted to say in a very emotionally regulated way. Bobby?
You know, we have been so blessed with the community that we have online. Other than a few trolls showing up in our Twitter streams and doing wacko crazy things because they see the hashtag sex abuse chat and they think something like a webcam model kind of thing. We have been so blessed with the people who come into our support groups and the people that are in our Twitter. And I have to say, in all the years that I have been working with survivors, I have never worked with a community that is encouraging and supportive like the people that we have. And it is amazing. And I wish I could take every single survivor out there and plug you in to one of our communities, whether it's our Twitter community or one of our Facebook groups or whatever it is that suits you best, because it is so powerful. We've said it before and we'll say it again. You know, community is shame's kryptonite. There's healing in community, and it is a life changer. Really is. It's a life changer. There's magic in being loved and supported and encouraged like the people in our community do for one another. So if you would like to join one of our Facebook groups, to join the Twitter community, you just need to show up for one of the Twitter chats. I promise you that people will say, hey, this is your first time. We know each other so well that we know who's new. So people will welcome you. And if you'd like to join one of our secret private Facebook groups, send us an email or friend either Athena or I on Facebook, and then send us a private message saying, I would like to be added to one of your secret support groups. We also recently, after having the narcissistic abuse event go so well, we started a secret Facebook group for survivors of narcissistic abuse. So you are more than welcome to also friend us and send us a private message. Just make sure you let us know whether you want to be in the adult survivors of childhood abuse support group or the narcissist abuse survivor group.
Hey, Bobby.
Yes?
I received a message. I forgot to tell you this. I received a message. It was, I think it was yesterday. I'm forgetting a lot of stuff. So it was either yesterday or the day before. And someone wanted to know if they needed to choose which group they wanted to be a part of, or if they could just join all of our groups. And we want you guys to know you can access any of our groups. They're all amazing. The survivors of narcissistic abuse, a group, grew from 0 people to 3 people, myself, Bree Bonche, and Bobby Parrish, to like 60 people overnight. Bobby, isn't it 60 or is it more now?
It's in the 70s now.
Yeah. So you guys, it happens quickly. Community happens quickly. And when you realize you have that mutual bond with someone, it's really special. And the walls go down. Think of it as like you go to like a ball game or you go to a restaurant or you see somebody in a coffee shop and all of a sudden you realize you're from the same hometown. No way. You're from Marshall, Minnesota. My parents live in Marshall, Minnesota. No way. Like instantly the walls come down. You're not like, who's the dude wearing the gray shirt in line at the coffee place right now? I don't even know him. Like, it's not like that anymore. All of a sudden you find out, I mean, it's just that connection. And when you have a survivor bond with someone, when you know they lived through and survived the horrific, crazy stuff that you lived through at the hands of somebody else, oh, there is nothing more welcoming and supportive and
validating.
Validating. Oh my gosh, great word. Yes, there's nothing more validating, you guys, when just to know that you're heard. Someone asked me what I do the other day, and I just was not in the mood to describe to them everything that I do because they have been minimizing of me before and just sort of like people pay you for that type of a thing, and I just didn't feel like it. And so I just, in response to their question of what I did for a living, I said, oh, I'm a professional listener. And, you know, oh, really? Huh? It just, I was doing it to be a smartass because I did not feel like being minimized and made fun of in their own mind again. So I know that might be manipulative and wrong of me, but I just said, yeah, I'm a professional listener and I'm really good at it. So yeah, and people pay me for that. Yes, to answer your previous question, jerk. No, I didn't say that. But
no, but I understand. I lived in Kuwait for a couple of years, and there was nothing like, walking down the street or going someplace and encountering someone who spoke English. That was amazing. And then 2, if they were American, it was like, wow. If I had been in the United States, I may have had nothing in common with them. But if you see them in a place where you're like the only one, and pardon me, but I kind of stick out, it's not like I can blend in with the crowd.
In Kuwait.
In the Middle East, and so,
it's okay.
Yeah, when I would see someone else or meet someone who's American who spoke English, it was like, woo! Party, I feel not so alone. So that is exactly the feeling about being in one of our communities. So yes, join us. And you don't have to choose. You can join both groups. So
yeah. And there's a co-ed adult survivors of childhood sexual abuse group that's led by Bobby Parrish and Rachel Thompson, who actually started Sex Abuse Chat back in January of 2014. So that is one of the communities that you can be welcomed into that's co-ed. Gosh, I'm really struggling with this piece of hair. It's going to drive me crazy tonight.
I need a staple gun.
I do. I just need to staple that one little piece of hair there.
Sorry.
um, so, but we do have that co-ed group, you guys, and we haven't started up the group for spouses yet, just because of the fact that it's only Bobby and myself right now, and I've just been handling travel and all this other kind of stuff, and I just haven't set it up yet. But there is going to be a group
Yes.
for the spouses and partners of, and we might even have it be like loved ones. I'm not really sure of if we want to keep it broad and then niche it down later, or if we want to start small and then expand it. Like, I'm not really sure yet. I want to talk to Glenn, and I want to talk to Simi, and I want to ask them if they're okay if it's like brothers and sisters and parents and like loved ones, or if they want to just keep it to partners and spouses, because the nature of a partner-spouse relationship with the survivor is very intimate. I'm thinking that maybe keeping it that way. I'm not really sure. I'm thinking out loud. You guys can tell. So we would love to hear your feedback. If you're looking for a safe support group to help you practice emotional regulation, the best way to learn emotional regulation is in community with other people who are learning it. And
who are safe.
And who are safe. Yes, you have to do it with safe people, you guys. If you try to practice being practice regulating your emotions, and you're in the middle of a meltdown, or if you're in crisis, or if you're triggered because the other person is A, not trauma informed, B, not compassionate, C, minimizing, D, disrespectful, and the list goes on, then the chances of you mastering emotional regulation drastically go down. However, ding, 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 this is the good news. When you are in a safe community with people who are validating, kind, compassionate, they're trauma informed, they're part of a lived experience community because, hello, they've lived it, they've lived the experience, all of a sudden, you know, I wake up sometimes to someone posting in one of our groups, I'm having these thoughts, you guys. These are the thoughts that are going through my head. Has anybody ever had thoughts like this before? And by the time I get to the thread, there's 42 comments of people just surrounding one of our peeps and just going, you know what? I have those thoughts all the time. And you want to know something? The best thing that's ever helped me in that situation is this. I've done A, B, and C, and 1, 2, 3, and I can help you if you want, or I'll just, you know, this is what we've done. This is what I've done, and it's really helped. But you want to know it didn't help me? It didn't help me if I was doing this sort of a thing. So all of a sudden, you walk into a situation, someone's already asked the question that you have been dying to ask, and then there's 42 comments of people going, ooh, and they're chiming in. Like, it's kind of like, I feel like it's kind of like a recipe. I wrote about this in the book that is being released right now, you guys. It's like a recipe. Someone goes, hey, does anybody have a really great recipe for like blueberry muffins? And all of a sudden there's like 12 different recipes. You can go, oh, you know what? I didn't even think of using fresh blueberries or organic diced almonds. And that sounds amazing. And like all of a sudden you pick your little ingredients that you're so excited that other people have tried, and then you make your own masterpiece blueberry muffins, and you're like, these are the best dang blueberry muffins I've ever had, and they're mine. This is my recipe because I took a little bit of this and a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and wow, I created this amazing recipe. And there's just pride in that. And so that is what you guys can do in safe community. You can actually learn how to be more emotionally regulated by adopting the best practices of other trauma survivors. And I know that we have an entire one page, and we're going to be teaching this topic tonight, and we're going to dive into that in a minute and all that. But I just wanted to preface all of it that we're going to be talking about tonight and just let you know the best way for you to adopt the best practices of other people who are trauma informed and who have conquered this and they have mastered it, so to speak, or they're on their way toward mastering it, is to be in a safe community filled with people who get it. You can't do this outside of community. It's very difficult to do this on your own. Very, very, very difficult to do this on your own. Very difficult, if not impossible. So that is my soapbox rant. Bobby, what do you have to say?
Well, and you know, you can find your own best practices by interacting with people. Each of us are going to have a different journey, and you're going to take, like you said, with your recipe, you're going to take this advice from this person, and this advice from this person, and this advice from this person. It's not like we have the all-knowing and all-wise answer for you. One of the things we've told you guys for the last year, and we'll keep telling you, is you are in charge of your recovery journey. It is yours. You have the power to choose. And we're going to talk some more about that here in a minute when we're talking about emotional regulation. So the things that you'll hear in community are all wise and good suggestions, and we trust you to know how to put them together in a way that works for you. So we don't want you to think that if you join one of the communities, we're going to give you all the answers for you.
Oh,
no,
yeah, no, it's about,
but we're going to help you find your answers.
yeah, that's kind of what I meant. I didn't mean you just get to show up
No, I
and just
wasn't
take,
saying you
take,
didn't
take.
mean that.
But it's neat to like have people to bounce stuff off of. You know, that is
Yep.
what a great community is for. You know, like the podcasting community, for instance, which, oh, by the way, Melissa, I got your email today regarding a podcast network, and let's talk more about that. So, Bobby, I saved it in the inbox for you. It sounds like a really great idea. Yeah. So we'll talk more about that. And yeah, like in the podcasting community, someone's like, oh my gosh, have you guys tried this? And hey, I did this with my iTunes, and I'm all of a sudden I'm getting more downloads. Or hey, have you decided to change your what platform are you using? Are you using Podbean? Are you using Libsyn? Like, what are you using? Like, it's neat to see what other people are doing and that they're having success with. And you could go, you know what? I use this program and I really like it. And all of a sudden you are helping others. And it's just this awesome reciprocity that goes on that's amazing. And it can't happen unless you're in community. So, yeah. This isn't even, Bobby, remember this morning during chat, and you said, what's our topic next week, Athena? And I couldn't remember. I said I needed to check my notes. I believe we discussed having one on community, like all about the power of community. And and there was another one that was recommended when you are sexually abused as a child and you become pregnant by your abuser. That was one of the ones that was requested. And then there was another one on, I think it was anxiety, which I think we may have already done. So
we'll check. We'll look at that.
Yeah. I got bit by something, you guys.
Uh-oh.
I got bit by a bug right on my, like, underneath my eye. It's going to swell up really big just in time for my conference. Woohoo!
Okay. Shall we talk emotional regulation?
I think we should talk emotional regulation. For those of you that are listening on a podcast platform such as iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, SoundCloud, or iHeartRadio, we are on a video broadcast right now, and you can have access to this one-page downloadable resource that we're about ready to bring up by going to traumarecoveryuniversity.com and clicking on the tab that says downloadables. You can also access it by going to nomoreshameproject.com, click on the tab that says downloadables, and you'll be given immediate access to our complimentary library of downloadable resources. And that's just as a thank you for supporting our awesome community and project that we've been working on for the last year and a half. So just as a thank you, we appreciate you. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for rating us. We have almost all 5 stars on Roku, Bobby. I think we have over 20. Really? I think we have 22 reviews or so. So for everybody that's been rating us, we really appreciate it. And we appreciate the thumbs up on the YouTube videos and all of the YouTube comments. We appreciate you guys so much.
You know, we have people that have been with us since day one. And it has been a magical thing to have started with just you and I an idea. And now to have, you know, a YouTube channel that is really taking off, and the Roku TV channel, and, you know, 15,000 people around the world listening and watching, and support groups, and it's mind-blowing. And Athena and I were talking just this morning about how much we absolutely positively love what we do. And it is our passion, and it is our heart, and we hope that you can see that in the work that we do. So we want to make sure that you know that the reason that we're doing this is for all of you. And because Athena and I have both been there, done that, had very lengthy recoveries, and we wanted to do something that would make recovery easier, and simpler for people. So that's what we're all about, is giving you the tools that you need, as Athena says, to have a safe, informed trauma recovery. So let's talk about emotional regulation. Emotional regulation is, simply put, the capacity to control your emotions rather than have your emotions control you. It's a phrase that came out of primarily the dialectical behavior therapy framework. I just about said movement, but that's not right. Marsha Linehan's work, dialectical behavioral therapy. She's the founder of the theory, and she put it together primarily to help people with borderline personality disorder. But that component of emotional regulation and helping people with it is something that so many survivors need help with. And that's for a couple of reasons. First, it's not like we got any help with emotional regulation as a child. Most children who grow up in at least moderately healthy environments, their parents will help them become emotionally regulated. You know, when a 3 or 4-year-old is laying down on the floor having a temper tantrum, they are struggling with emotional regulation. And hopefully their parent will give them a safe space to work their feelings out. And then when they're done having a tantrum, we'll sit down and talk with them about what they were feeling and what happened, and maybe what could be done differently the next time. Most of us grew up in emotionally volatile and very chaotic emotional homes. Obviously, sometimes that the whole family structure was chaotic, but emotionally chaotic in particular can really mess with your capacity to regulate your emotions. And then, to make things even more challenging, those of us who were exposed to prolonged periods of abuse, particularly between those ages of about 3 and 8, we experienced brain damage to a part of our brain called the amygdala. And the amygdala is what helps moderate your emotional response. And we will experience a significant decline in our capacity to regulate our emotions when we have that damage to our amygdala. So this is the reason why people will look at you when you emotionally respond to someone, and they'll tell you, oh, you're just overreacting. This is what happens to us when we get stuck in a feeling of hopelessness and we can't get ourselves back out without someone else's help. Or maybe we go into a rage and we can't get out of that rage until someone else helps us. So that's what emotional regulation is about. And that's why we as survivors struggle with it in particular. And unfortunately, when we don't get to learn that as a child, we bring that into an adulthood, and we bring that into all of our relationships, whether it's as a parent, as a spouse, as an employee. All of these areas we bring in our inability to regulate our emotions. And I just want to say that maybe it's possible that you have a firm grasp on emotional regulation when things are going well and you're not stressed. But then when you get stressed, your emotional regulation goes to heck in a handbasket. That's normal. And that's okay. Athena talked about how her memory is really giving her a hard time. And that's because under stress, her executive functioning is showing the damage that her brain took as a result of her abuse. So you may do okay until you hit a time of real stress, and then things fall apart. So we want to walk you through some information about strategies and tips that you can learn and apply in order to help you with emotional regulation. So watch me now as I pull it up on my wonderful.
It really does help to know that the amygdala has been, I think I mentioned this in a previous broadcast, but I got into a car accident before I moved to Maui. It was about 10 years ago. It was in 2005. And when I went and got all my tests done from my car accident, they asked me, did you hit your head on the steering wheel or anything? And I said, no, I braced myself. And they said, did you have any type of childhood trauma or what? Like, they went into this deep, long line of questioning regarding my childhood. And I thought, I got into a flipping car accident. Hello, like, what's your deal? And I didn't understand why they would have this line of questioning. It turns out that area of my brain, like my frontal lobe, was completely the purple color instead of the green color or red or whatever it was supposed to be. And it's because of the years of prolonged, horrific abuse and me being afraid for my life on a daily basis for so many years.
Yes.
So it can damage you guys. It can damage you. And this is only 10 years ago. I'm turning 42 this year, you guys. This is when I was 32 years old. And I got out of that crazy house when I was 17. And that's how many years later the abuse was still showing on the tests, whatever it was, with the red and the green and the purple. So
right. And it will continue to, unfortunately. It's not something that our brain repairs, except we can build new neural pathways.
Yes, which is awesome. I love that.
Yes, which is awesome. But we can't undo it. We can't undo that damage. We just have to learn ways to deal with it. Yes. And when I've seen PET scans that they've done where they've put the image of a damaged brain next to, from someone who went to war and they sustained a traumatic brain injury, and then they put next to it the PET scan of someone who was exposed to abuse for significant periods of time during their childhood, and they look the same. They look the same. Wow. So don't underestimate the role that your abuse has in what you are struggling with today.
And that's not like a free pass, like a hall pass.
Oh, no.
To go be a jerk, you guys. I mean, we know that you all wouldn't do that, but I want to be very clear on this broadcast, like we always are. Like, we're not making excuses for people and giving them a hall pass to go like abuse people and be crazy and be rude and unkind and show up in society in certain ways that are highly inappropriate. We're saying there's a reason, a justifiable reason that our brain is a certain way. And now it's our responsibility to make healthy choices and different choices to live this life the absolute best way we possibly can with the time we have left, now that we're not a child being abused anymore.
Right, exactly. Yeah. This is an explanation, it is not an excuse.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Some tips and strategies to help you learn emotional regulation. And just right up front, this isn't something that you're going to learn in a week. This isn't something you're going to learn in a month. This is something that you may very well practice parts of it for the rest of your life. But you will certainly get better at it after a couple of months.
Hey, Tata's here. Tata du jour. She's here.
Hey,
welcome.
The first one is learn to separate your emotions from your identity. Okay? For example, you might feel the emotion shame, but that does not make you a shameful person. Okay? Your emotions are one part of you. They do not define who you are. Develop the capacity to identify the emotions you're feeling and those being expressed by others. Okay, this is important because when you can name something, you can deal with it. If you just feel like, oh, I'm upset, and you're not able to say, well, I'm angry, I'm hurt, I feel betrayed, you can't deal with that. You can't solve this big blob of just emotion. You have to be able to pick out the different feelings and cope with what is bringing those up. And this is one of the things that we work so hard to do with our children. And, if my son is upset, I'll try and feed back to him the emotion that he's feeling. It looks like you're really angry right now. Or, are you sad? You look sad to me. So that he learns that he can name his emotions, and then we can better learn how to understand and cope with them.
Yeah.
Recognize the role that emotions play in our lives. This is something that, go ahead.
I'm sorry. On the top bullet point where it says, if you may feel shame, but that does not make you a shameful person. Something
Right.
came up for me when I was formatting and doing all of the graphics and stuff. I feel like somebody needs to hear this right now, okay? You might feel dirty. You might feel gross or used up or unloved or unlovable or just whatever you might feel. That does not mean that that's who you are. And it doesn't mean that it's true. It is a valid feeling. I want to validate that it's perfectly valid for you to feel dirty or used up or disgusting or unloved or unlovable or unwanted or whatever. I've felt all of those things. I have felt every single one of those things. And I've felt them more than once. But I have learned to separate those emotions and feelings and thoughts from who I am as a person. Otherwise, it rips me apart and shreds me for days, and I'm literally not okay. So you might feel dirty or gross or disgusting or used up or, fill in the blank. But
Right.
it is not who you are. You are amazing, and there's a purpose for your life, and we are here to help you find that out and to find out what your purpose is and to inspire you and encourage you and welcome you. So that's all I wanted to say, Bobby. Sorry about that.
No, you are absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And that's difficult for us sometimes to separate. But the more that you practice that when you're not stressed and when you're not upset, the more it will become second nature when you are stressed or upset, when someone says something like that to you, or you're triggered by a memory that brings up that feeling of shame for you. Okay, so recognize the role that emotions play in our lives. Sometimes we give them a larger role than they are meant to fulfill. Emotions are simply, they're a messenger. They tell us something. If we feel angry, that's telling us that somehow we feel like someone has let us down or violated a boundary or there's an injustice. If we feel happy, that's a message letting us know that something that we wanted or enjoy is happening. They're not meant as a tool to control us or anyone else. And you very well may have experienced that as a child when someone tried to control you with their anger, or the other way around, control you with their sadness.
Or their silence.
Okay. Exactly. But that is not the role of emotions. Emotions are to give you information and feedback, period. Take responsibility for your emotions. This is where we really have to dispel that myth that someone else can make you feel something. I know it's one of my personal pet peeves when I hear someone say to me, you make me angry.
So mad. You make me so mad, Bobby. You make me so mad. You make me mad.
Then the irony is that I get mad. But that's not true. People can push our buttons. Absolutely, they can push your buttons. But your emotional reaction is your responsibility. I realize that some of us, given our abuse, have a hair trigger for anger and rage. I get it. And when someone pushes that button knowingly, that is not okay. But you are still responsible for how you respond. Only you can choose what you allow or who you allow to affect you.
Yes, And if you guys are looking for an example, I had one of my abusers on the phone with me one time, and they were doing their normal thing where they like to push the little buttons. They like to say certain things that they normally get a reaction out of me, where I start to defend myself, or I start to act a certain way, or I always respond a certain way. And when I didn't, when I chose one day, you know what? No, today is the day that I don't allow that to affect me anymore. I get my life back today. I'm not going to allow this person to press my buttons, manipulate me, shred me for days, and harm me anymore. No, I'm going to simply be silent and calm. And you want to know something, you guys? I've never turned back. I've never turned back, not with that one person. I haven't. I have not allowed that person to press those buttons ever again. It felt so...
I bet it did.
Oh my gosh, I felt like like He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. I mean, oh my gosh, She-Ra. Oh, I was so...
I remember She-Ra. We're dating ourselves, Athena.
Oh my word. But yeah, you guys, take back your power. Don't give your power to somebody else. Don't let somebody else have the freedom and the power to dial a freaking telephone and to ring you anytime they want, and to say a little something, and to have you respond exactly the way they want you to. Not anymore. You have a choice. And it may take deep breathing. It may take pushing the mute button while you scream. It may take anything, but guess what? The moment you respond differently and you don't fall into that same role that you've fallen into for who knows how many years, 1, 2, 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and you feel what it feels like to not play their game, I'm telling you, the clouds part and the angels sing hallelujah, and you will never want to go back. And I'm not saying that it wouldn't happen again, you guys. I'm not perfect. I could probably blow it tomorrow if I had to have a conversation. But you guys, this is a game changer here. We're on the 4th bullet point down, taking responsibility for our emotions. Oh my gosh. Okay, sorry.
We love lived experience and giving you guys examples for our own lives and from the lives of people who we've been told it's okay to share things. So it makes it more real, and it makes it tangible and not just something that's up on your computer screen. This next one is important. A lack of self-care contributes to a buildup of distressing emotions. If a lack of self-care contributes to a buildup of distressing emotions for you, then modify your self-care. Okay, this is something like, do you get enough sleep? Are you eating properly? Are you in the company of people who are healthy? I know for me, when I do not get enough sleep, I lose control of my emotions very easily. And when I am surrounded by people who are harping or nagging or just generally trying to jump on my every trigger, I respond in ways I wish I did not. So practice your self-care. You know, and it's interesting because we learn this with children, right? We learn that if my toddler does not get enough sleep, he is a grumpy monkey. But somehow as adults, this one goes right out the window.
It doesn't apply to us. We are superheroes. We do not need to get enough sleep or enough food or surround ourselves with, healthy, awesome people or whatever. It only applies to our kids.
Yeah. But yeah, this is important. And if you can get enough sleep, and by doing that short circuit problems with your emotional regulation, then woohoo, that's a simple fix. Although I admit that some of us, it's not like getting extra time for sleep will appear out of nowhere, but if you can get it, use it.
Sleep is a commodity that doesn't come easily for many of us survivors. Like, we have nightmares, or our sleep patterns are, we did a whole, hour-long video on sleep disturbances. You can go to our YouTube channel, our Roku TV channel, and you can watch that one or listen to that one as well. And I'm telling you, you guys, sleep is a big, big key, because when you've had enough rest, you make better choices on what to eat. You're not like, oh, I'm so exhausted, I don't feel like cooking something healthy for myself, I'm just going to grab some chips. At least, I'm talking about myself here. So, but yeah, everything, it's a game changer when you actually get enough rest.
Yes, it is. It is. It is. Okay, this next one. I talk to people about this frequently, my private clients, and this is hard. I fully and completely acknowledge that this next one is hard. Learn how to tolerate emotional distress. My psychiatrist says to me, Bobby, you need to learn how to sit. She calls it sit in distress. Okay, so like sitting in the middle of a tornado going on around you, and you're calmly, with your eyes closed, visualizing your happy space, and your blood pressure isn't going up, 1 iota. Because some emotions, they're distressing, but we cannot respond to them in unhealthy ways without making it worse. Okay, okay, so like Athena talked about, she has an abuser she talks to on the phone who wants to push her buttons. And that probably initially is uncomfortable for Athena not to fall for that ploy. Okay, and because the abuser doesn't see her responding, the abuser may very well escalate his or her behavior. And that, because it's something that Athena is so used to and it has caused distress in her past, may very well cause distress for her. But she has to learn to sit there and feel that distress, but not acquiesce, not let the abuser have her power. So we oftentimes have to learn how to sit in distress without turning to unhealthy coping techniques. This morning in chat, someone talked about numbing out. Yeah, dissociating, numbing, eating, drinking, distracting ourselves by unhealthy things. All of that is an unhealthy way to deal with our distress. We have to learn to tolerate a certain amount of distress. And we have a couple of videos that might help you with this. One of them is an episode on crisis management plans, and the other is an episode on coping with overwhelming emotions.
Oh, that's the one. I couldn't remember it when I was typing it out. That is the right.
That's okay. Exactly as you wrote that, I thought of that one. So check both of those out on our YouTube channel, and then look for those one pages in our library on No More Shame Project. And that marries really well with this next tip, which is to develop a solid repertoire of self-soothing techniques. Okay, what's a self-soothing technique? A self-soothing technique is something that you can do that will soothe your distress. Okay, the very picture of this kind of behavior is what a parent will do with a baby when a baby is upset. They will hold the baby and they will rock back and forth, and they'll talk slowly and quietly and gently to the baby, and they'll just try to soothe them into feeling better. We need to learn things that help us soothe our feelings. This morning someone brought up music. That music helps them to feel calmer. It helps soothe them. Going for a walk might be soothing to you. Going to the gym and doing some pretty amazing cardio workout will soothe those angry or upset feelings.
I like going for a drive.
There you go, going for a drive. Distracting yourself with a funny movie, that's self-soothing. Any of those things are self-soothing. Now, there's some unhealthy things that are self-soothing too, like we just talked about. Overeating, drinking, doing any kind of drugs. Those are self-soothing, but they're unhealthy self-soothing techniques. You need to have a good repertoire, I would say, of about 3 or 4. And know those ahead of time. Always have a plan before you get into your distress, because that's not a good time. At that time, your executive functioning is gone to heck in a handbasket, and you're not going to be able to come up with ideas. Okay, I'm upset. I know I'm in distress. I know I need to self-soothe, but I can't remember what it was that I was going to do. Okay, have a list.
Sounds like
have
me.
a plan. Yeah. Have a list. Have a plan beforehand while you're calm. Okay, this is going to be my action plan for the next time that I get distressed. I'm going to try A. If A doesn't work, I'm going to do B. If B doesn't work, I'm going to do C. If C doesn't work, I'm going to do D. And if that doesn't work, then I'm going to reach out to a helping professional and ask them to please assist you in dealing with your distress.
Yeah, I've reached out to our SAFE community before. One of our SAFE communities last week, I was having some overwhelming emotions regarding my travel. And it was because one of my abusers used to make the biggest deal out of if I would travel and go anywhere. Like, well, where are you going? Well, what hotel are you staying at? Well, what about your flight? Well, what airline are you flying? Well, are you renting a car? Well, because they just wanted to know everything. It was like the biggest deal ever. And so whenever I would have a trip planned, I would have this buildup of anxiety and stress because I knew that I would have to brace myself for the barrage that was coming. And, I didn't realize how abusive or inappropriate that behavior was until I got away from it. And bottom line, if you're over 10, 11, 12, 15, 17, 18 years old and someone's treating you like that, yeah, might not be too healthy, folks. Didn't know that. I'm 42. That was happening to me up until just recently, about a year or two ago. Yeah. So I reached out to our SAFE community, and I said, I'm feeling all of these emotions right now. I don't think these are sexual abuse related. I do think that it's because of the narcissistic abuse that I've lived through. And so anyway, I just wanted to get that out there. And it's really neat, guys. If you have a SAFE community that you're plugged into and you do have some emotional distress that, you're pretty close to regulating, but you're not sure, you just sort of need to reach out for a lifeline sort of a thing. It's really neat to have an entire group of people that accept you, love you, and appreciate you and are willing to listen or validate or give you great advice. So that's part of my crisis management plan, is having communities in place if my other self-soothing techniques are not employed in time, or I'm not able to ground myself,
Right.
or
Right.
or deep breathing, or going for a drive or whatever. If I find that I'm still not feeling well, I'll reach out to my SAFE community, and it always helps me. So,
and that's a great, fourth or fifth step in the plan. After you have tried them all, they've exhausted, then reach out to someone, reach out to the helping professional or your support group, and they most hopefully, assuredly, will help you to get grounded. We have so many people tweeting in. Stu mentioned that he does support groups for partners, and he can help us get that set up. So that is wonderful.
oh,
Yay!
wonderful. Oh, I'm so excited for that.
Okay, so let's finish this one up. And it is learn how to effectively and consistently convert distressing emotions to pleasant ones with behavior choices and changes. Okay, that's a mouthful. What does it actually mean? I'll tell you what it means. All right, so I'm angry. One of my abusers has done something, and my response to that has been anger. And so now I'm walking around my house, and I am just angry, angry, angry. And now I'm angry at myself for being angry. And I'm angry because I needed today to be a productive day. It's not being a productive day because I'm angry. One of the best things that you can do is turn your emotions around by starting to do things that will create positive emotions. Okay? So something that will usually feel positive for me is spending some time with my son, playing a game with him, playing a video game, playing a board game, taking the dog out and throwing a ball and letting him come back with it, hanging out with him, carrying him around, whatever that is, phoning a friend. I don't have to talk to them about my anger. I don't have to talk to them about anything really, just connecting with them and experiencing their warmth and their kindness. All of those things that you do will begin to turn your emotions towards something more positive. The last thing you want to do is keep engaging in things that will make you angry. So that's what I mean when I say convert your distressing emotions to pleasant ones with behavior choices and changes. That is so important. That is one of the critical skills in dialectical behavior therapy with emotional regulation. And again, when you're sitting down and you're making out your action plan for what you're going to do the next time you feel triggered and you feel like you're experiencing, so much anger or so much pain, make a list. These are things that normally can turn my mood around. There are people out there that will tell you time and time again that your behavior determines your emotions. And I don't know if that's always the case, but it's sometimes the case.
It's been the case a lot for me personally, but I know it's not for everyone. But for me, if I make a choice, you guys, my emotions follow 100% of the time. And it doesn't always happen quickly, but it does happen for me personally. I can only talk for myself in my own recovery. But if I make a choice, and it's a big step for me. I've made this choice. Like for me, like personally, like the choice of forgiveness. Like I want to forgive somebody because I don't want to, feel bitter anymore. I just want to be, I just want to just let go of that. For me personally, forgiving someone means letting go of the need to change the past or to punish them or whatever, just letting it go. I'm choosing, you know what? I think I'm done here. I'm done. I just want to forgive this person because the more I hold on to this need to change things from a long time ago that I can't do, the more I feel emotionally dysregulated. So my choice in choosing to let that go, or I guess the word forgive, people oftentimes confuse forgiveness with reconciliation. I'll never be reconciled to the people that did horrific, horrible, awful, terrible things to me. But I'm letting go of the need to change the past because I literally can't change it. It's always going to be my past, but that's what it is. So, but as soon as I made that choice, like that's what I'm going to do. All of a sudden I felt free. I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm not thinking about this 24/7 anymore. I'm free. I'm very productive now because I'm not spending all this emotional energy focused in that direction. And so it was just really freeing for me. So like, I don't know. And that's just one example. I know that we already have a video on forgiveness. So,
yeah.
But
it takes practice and it takes time. And we don't want to convey to you guys that just by throwing up this one page that if you do A, B, and C tomorrow, it's all going to be better. Chances are high that it's not going to be, but if you continue to practice these, it will be. And if you would like to be in a supportive community that will allow you to practice it without being bashed over the head, we would love to welcome you into one of those. So,
Simi just said, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm so sorry.
No, go ahead.
Simi
I was just done.
Simi just tweeted a really awesome thing, and she said that one of the therapists they know told them that emotions aren't permanent; they ebb and flow, and that is so helpful, you guys, to know. I'm feeling this way. I'm feeling this way, but it is temporary. This is not how I'm going to feel forever. I might not even feel this way tomorrow. I might not feel this way in 10 minutes, but I feel this way right now, and it's okay. You know?
Yes. By all means, don't beat yourself up if you're feeling a particular emotion. Now, if you're doing something that's not healthy, because of that emotion, such as inflicting harm on another human being,
Or yourself, or self-harm.
or yourself, yes, then, that's another thing. But just feeling angry, when I was a child in my upbringing, I was taught that feeling anger or jealousy was a sin. The minute that something like that came into my mind, I was sinning. And it was so hard to stop myself from ever feeling angry. And every time I felt angry, I was so ashamed. And I knew that God, I thought, because that's what I had been told, of course, that God was looking down on me and strike me with thunderbolts because I felt angry. But now I know that's not true. But, some of us have been taught some really unhealthy things about emotions. And we're here to tell you that feeling any emotion is okay. It's what you do with it where things can fall apart.
And, there are a lot, exactly, Bobby. And, there are a lot of people, to use proper English, there are a lot of people that are here for our broadcasts, that listen to our broadcasts or watch them, that were told, they're from that era that we're from, where they were told if they showed any emotion as a child, they showed any emotion as a kid, like let's say they cried, shut up, I'll give you something to cry about.
Yes.
And it's like, you're crying because something bad happened. You don't just cry for funsies. I mean, you cry because somebody hit you or bullied you or did something bad to you, or they're abusing you, or somebody stole something from you, or you fell down and you hurt yourself and you scared yourself, or you're bleeding everywhere, whatever it might be. That's why people cry. Hello. And if you were told constantly as a child, Bobby? If you were told constantly as a child, like, what are you crying about? I'll give you something to cry about. Just, you better stop it, or whatever. I mean, hello.
Yes.
That is a recipe for a complete disaster as an adult, because then all of a sudden you are, I've heard people say, like, I haven't cried since I was 11 years old. And you're like, oh boy, okay. And it's like, well, I mean, they're either, I don't know. I just don't know how healthy it is to not ever feel emotion since you were 11. Like, I don't know if that's 100% healthy. I'm not judging. I'm just saying, like, wow, like, there had to be some stuff,
Yes, exactly.
I probably
there were
just
some powerful lessons they experienced as a child.
Yeah, I think I just hit a nerve on about 32,000 people right now. So.
It's funny, as you were talking, I was remembering, I don't know why he would say this, but my grandfather used to say to me when I cry about something, he would say, come here, I'll give you something to cry about, I'll cut your thumb off. And he'd pull his pocket knife out of his pocket.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
sorry, but you hear things like that as a child?
Yeah,
and
traumatizing.
You learn very quickly that emotions are not okay.
Yeah, you better just
crying
like,
is not okay.
Together. Keep it together. Come on, keep it together.
Exactly.
Otherwise, I'll cut your thumb off.
Yeah, that awful stuff. Good grief.
Oh my goodness. Well, I know we went over on time. Should we show our contact information for people, or should we just say it in closing?
Let's just say it real quick.
Okay. Well, we appreciate your time and taking your evening or your day or your drive into work or whatever it is that you do when you listen to us and watch us. We show up here every single week, myself, Athena Moberg, and my amazing partner, Bobby Parrish. We show up here every single week to share with you tips and tricks and strategies and open dialogue, open honest dialogue, and practical application, practical strategies that you can use today to feel better if you are an adult survivor of childhood sexual abuse or any type of child abuse, actually. And if you like this broadcast, please hit the thumbs up or rate us on whatever platform it is that you have found us so that we can continue to give you free resources. And if you want to reach my amazing partner, Bobbi Parish, you are going to email her at Bobbi L, like Larry, Parish at gmail.com. Or you can find her on Twitter at Bobbi L. Parish. You can find her at thetraumarecoverycoach.com or BobbiParish.com. You can also find her on Facebook at facebook.com/Bobbi Parish Coaching and Consulting. I think that, or you can just reach both of us at No More Shame Project at gmail.com. I'm on Facebook and Twitter as Athena Moberg or Athena Moberg Speaking. And you can, I received an email today from somebody on my personal private email. I don't know how you found my personal private email address that I don't ever give out publicly. And you need help. And I understand that you need help. And I will probably respond to you from our project email address because that is where I receive, or my business email address, which is athena@athenamoberg.com. So he had, his name is Andy Bobby, and he said that he is reaching out for help and he hasn't heard back from us. He didn't hear back from you and he hasn't heard back from me. And so, yeah, so we're really sorry that you haven't heard back. Did you receive an email from him?
I did.
Yeah, it's just the two of us. It's just the two of us. We're doing our very, very best.
Yes,
so
we are.
If you don't hear back from us in 24 to 48 hours, we're doing the best we can. We are going to help as much as we can. My very first thing that I would love to say is just get plugged into one of our safe communities, and that way you have community support 24/7, 365, and it's not only up to Bobbi or myself to help and support you. That is why we set up safe communities, because we are two human beings and we're not superheroes. So we love each and every one of you. It is our honor and our joy to show up here every single week. Bobbi, would you have any parting thoughts for today's episode?
No, I'm so honored that all of you come every week and you be with us, and then you share the information with others who need it. It is always awesome when we get an email or a tweet from someone who says, you know, so-and-so told me to contact you guys, or so-and-so showed me one of your videos. So keep sharing, you guys. Share the videos. Share the Twitter chats. Let people know there's Facebook groups. That's how we'll get more people into the awesomeness that are our communities for helping them heal and recover. So, yeah.
Continue to share the love, you guys. We're so grateful for each and every one of you. And please rate our podcast so that we can continue to give out free resources. And if you are going to be in Birmingham, Alabama, the weekend of September 18th, then I would love for you to purchase a ticket and attend the conference that I am speaking at. It's the VIP Leaders Conference, and we're going to be in Birmingham, Alabama. So if you'd like more information on that, then please contact me over at nomoreshame@gmail.com. Otherwise, I will be in West Palm Beach, Florida in November. I'll be in Montgomery, Alabama in November. And I will be hopefully in Seattle or Portland, I can't remember which, towards the end of the year. So yeah, we love you guys. And this is me, Athena Moberg, and my partner, Bobbi Parish. And we're signing off of this episode of Trauma Recovery University, where we love to bring you everything you need for healthy, informed trauma recovery. Aloha.